Hi guys, this is Jean Holden, producer of the show, and I just wanted to take a minute to let you know where you can find us on the internet. Please go to ThatMan on Fatman.com. There you can find out all the things you need to know about the show. You'll be able to find links to the podcast, to YouTube, to Twitter, Facebook, even Instagram and Snapchat. Thank you so much for listening, guys, and we hope you enjoy the show.
Today's show is brought to you by Death Wish Coffee. Death Wish Coffee, the strongest coffee in the world.
This is Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman, and I want to urge you to make a generous donation to the Wayne Foundation so we can stop the sexual trafficking of children. Do it, or I'll find you.
And don't forget to check out our good friend of the show, Mark Live, over at chundertunes.com for all your podcast animation needs. ThatMan on Fatman is recorded with a Zoom H6 handy recorder. Zoom for creators.
Disclaimer. The show you're about to experience is for entertainment purposes only. The hosts use mature language and conversation just like in most of life. If you're too uptight, this might not be for you. All that said, we really do hope you enjoy the show. But if you don't enjoy it, expect a nice big shipment of my joyous Joker juice on your doorstep in the very near future. Toodles!
Yes, please note that use of all sound effects is done ironically.
Ooh-ah. You are listening to ThatMan on Fatman with Scott and Jean Holden, and they, trust me, have a great ass.
The second Y is sent in by
ThatMan on Fatman.
Oh, right on. Scott Holden.
Scott Holden, yep.
And what does Scott want?
Call me Scott because I'm Holden.
As the world's biggest Kevin Smith fan, I appreciate the fact that somebody finally made a podcast about that interesting motherfucker. So, yes, you absolutely did the right thing.
Okay, what has two thumbs and is a huge fan of Kevin Smith? ThatMan!
Scott, who does ThatMan on Fatman podcast.
Yeah.
Ooh-ah.
Well, once upon a time, just a regular man read a book written by the Fat Man. Tough shit written by old Kev Smith.
Ooh-ah. ThatMan on Fatman.
Kev said go out and start a podcast, and so I did, and I had a real blast. But my obsession was driving my co-host nuts.
Who is he? He's that man. He's talking.
Didn't want to bring the podcast down. Needed Porkchop Murphy to hang around.
Go get him, that man.
So I created a show with one heck of a plan, and I call that show ThatMan on Fatman.
ThatMan on Fatman.
Go get him, that man.
We're gonna talk about Kevin Smith.
ThatMan on Fatman. ThatMan on Fatman.
Go get him, that man.
We're gonna talk about Kevin Smith.
Go get him, that man.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to this episode 514 of ThatMan on Fatman. My name is Scott Holden. Welcome to the show. Sitting with me here in the That Cave is none other than co-host extraordinaire, producer, and everything person, Ms. Jean Holden.
Ms.
Yeah,
Hi, guys.
The feminist.
That means, like, I'm single.
And I would like to say, no, Ms. Ms. is not.
Oh, Miss is single.
Yes, Miss.
Oh.
I said
I was
Ms.
gonna say
like
Mrs.
Ms.
Ms.
M.S. period.
Is a mademoiselle.
Yes.
I think, right?
Well, Ms. was created by sort of in the 70s. It's the women's movement.
Yes.
Ms.
I
MS
like
period.
Ms,
It's the
actually.
opposite.
Ms.
It's the equivalent of Mr. for women.
Yes, and I think it's better than ma'am too. By the way,
And most people kind of say it most of the time.
I say miss a lot.
Ms.
I say miss a lot. I don't know what I say. Miss.
Well, that's a very Southern thing too, as we learned
Miss?
from living down south. They say Miss and the first name, Miss Jean.
I say hi, miss, or Ms. I don't know.
But
anyway,
yeah,
I don't say ma'am. I try to avoid ma'am because I know that I don't like it that much. Even though, ma'am, I mean it's whatever, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. Well,
I like miss.
Ma'am is formal.
Okay.
It's like the formal version of sir.
Well, ma'am is like Mrs. though. Like
No, it's not.
No.
Ma'am is the female version of sir.
Yeah.
So, like in the military, you would when you don't address someone as
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Although I do believe nowadays you can address females as sir. I'm pretty sure.
Oh.
I think so. If she's like a captain,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I could be wrong.
Well, I say miss.
Maybe some military person out there can correct me, and I would very much appreciate that.
I say
I
miss.
don't
Like
know.
when I'm calling someone at a store, I'll say miss. You know, that sort of thing. So that's my preference.
Yeah.
Y'all do your thing.
But anyway, so we started this with these ramblings, but
Yes.
welcome to this Kevin Smith-based fanboy and fangirl show
Yes.
where we essentially express a lot of love about Kevin. We talk
Yeah.
about what's going on in his world, in his universe, and, you know, things that are shaking.
Yeah.
And last time we dropped a show, we the big news dropped the next day that Comic Book Man had been canceled on AMC. And since this episode we don't have a Smed Lines prepared by Miss Danielle Ryan, because she's, it's 4th of July, but, a lot of people are taking extended vacation.
Oh, she was spending time with,
family and whatnot.
Yeah.
So
relaxing.
Yes, that's why we really didn't drop a show last week. We ended up being like, well,
We were relaxing too.
4th of July.
I like relaxing.
Yes. So, we didn't drop a show that week, but now
Which was just last week.
I just derailed. But where was I going here?
Yeah, we didn't drop a show.
Yes.
Now we're basically catching up. Our last show was Marilyn.
Yes.
Right.
Very good show. I love that show a lot.
Yeah, it was good.
I think that was Marilyn's best appearance on the show. I mean, she's only been on a few times.
She's never really had a bad appearance.
Yeah, but
I think it was
again,
just very...
it's so weird. Like instantly, there's sort of like the thought that I'm saying something negative by saying that, but I'm not. I'm saying, like, if I rank, obviously there's going to be the strongest one, and I really thought that was strongest.
Well,
and the reason why is I think because we're getting, we're comfortable now.
Oh, I was going to say there's a
rapport.
There.
Yeah,
That's exactly.
And I like Marilyn. I do.
I really do. And I think there's
hero.
a trust. There had to have been a trust with us too, because she didn't really know us. So when we first met, and we're like,
we've been to the woman's house.
Clerks,
you know what I mean?
So yeah, so we're gonna hook her up with our film dude and all that. But go to Marilyn's Twitter feed, because like she discussed on the last show.
Yes.
There she's got a whole bunch of projects.
Yeah, and they're
with a group of friends, and they're trying to get.
They're time sensitive. They're raising money.
They're raising money to direct.
Yeah.
So help Marilyn direct. And we've talked about what a great
you
director.
You heard her talk. I mean, you heard us commiserate, and in truth, anyone who gets into this, who has to do some kind of fundraising like this, you quickly find out it's the worst. You feel like a shitheel.
You feel
That's
like
the
a
best,
jerk.
like a beggar. You're that guy.
You're the beggar.
You're that guy. You're that guy that everybody wants to avoid.
You're
on
the one
Twitter.
holding out the plate saying, please, can you?
But
you're getting a lot in return.
And you have to do it to get these projects off the ground unless you have financial backers.
Right. And we've seen Marilyn at work. I mean, if you follow her on Twitter, if you see her at the cons, she's doing makeup. She's in front of the camera.
Again,
she's behind
everything
the
I
camera.
said last week was, I really feel from my heart. She would be a great director.
She has her
was
shit
so
together.
organized. She was wonderful to work for.
She has her shit together, and she's very buttoned up. So check out Marilyn and all of her friends.
Yes.
Go on Twitter. That Clerks, isn't it? That Clerks Girl?
Yes.
At That Clerks Girl.
Yeah.
So that was a great show.
Yeah.
And we Yeah.
Oh, moving quickly back to in place of the Smedlines this week,
Right.
what we're going to play is something that we put together for YouTube, and it was just you're going to hear the audio of it, and it's just sort of our homage to comic book men. And I know there's movements out there to try and get comic book men started again, and I completely support all of them.
Yes.
The funny thing is, like, I said a comment half in passing to a Jeff Quigley post, and the reason why I said it was I had just listened to the Kevin episode.
Yeah, with the dudes.
Yeah, and they
With all
essentially,
the comic
I mean,
book men.
not for nothing, but I mean, I know there was hope, but at the same time, it felt like they just nailed that coffin shut.
Right. I
So
mean, there's
upon
always
hearing that
hope.
show, when I saw Jeff Quigley's thing, I was like, oh, you know, it just doesn't feel like this is going to happen, but A, for effort.
Yeah,
because,
but-
hey, I mean, if you don't try, it's not going to fucking happen.
Okay, can we just say this? We know Kevin. Okay, the people listening to the show know Kevin. If you love Kevin, if you're listening to the show, there's a reason why, because you love Kevin. Kevin is hope.
Yeah.
Like, seriously,
Yeah.
we want the show to succeed. And if anyone is hopeful and wants things to succeed, even for himself, it's Kevin. He wants people to succeed. He wants his friends to succeed. So seriously, we want this show to keep going because it's fun.
Yes.
And it's more Kevin stuff to talk about.
Yes.
And, you know, Walter and all the dudes, all the guys, all the comic book men.
Oh, so for those who have already heard this by, you know, going over to YouTube and spinning it
Yeah.
out, I apologize. But for those who haven't, consider this our Smedlines this week. It's our little homage to a wonderful show that survived for 7 seasons, which is a fucking, that should be celebrated. I know everyone's like, we
Absolutely.
just started. But even if it doesn't, let's just say for the
Right.
sake of argument, it does not reborn. It's not reborn. I mean, it's like what Kevin said when he fucking was on his deathbed. You know what I mean? He was like, why fight this?
Exactly.
This is perfect. I got,
Exactly.
I paid the fucking, why argue? Why
It could fit in
we
perfectly
had
with
we
this.
had this beautiful run.
Yeah.
You know, we had 7 great seasons.
You're right. You could take what he said
and
put it right into
which
the
is
comic
why
book.
I felt like,
Yeah.
you know, when they
Yeah.
said, oh, you know, with more,
Yeah.
I don't know.
He seemed very at peace with it, the same way
Yeah,
as he did with
exactly.
his heart.
But hey,
Because
again,
I think he's in a very
in
positive
an
space
age
right
of
now.
Netflix and all that other stuff. And here was the other thing that sort of, if you listen to that show, this is the other
Yeah.
thing that made me feel that way, was when he talked to his relationship with the executive at AMC,
Yeah.
the way the business thing, you know, clangs shut, made it feel very much like, okay, this is about money. This is about, you know, the cost of production. And anyone who picks up the show is going to have to pick up that cost.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Well,
So,
and like salaries.
yeah, all those hurdles.
Salaries go up.
Now,
because
can they be overcome? Sure. Yes, they can.
Absolutely. And these things have a, you know, with Kevin.
Yes.
And Kevin, the next day, like 10 things are happening.
Yeah.
And you never even knew.
And who knows? Here is the best way for the audience to guarantee that, or at least fucking send a strong message that the show could sustain another season. Go on Amazon and buy every season. Because you're telling Amazon,
Right.
a company that
That's really
that picks up original content,
yes.
that there's a fan base in the universe that wants this show,
Okay.
and a smart executive over at Amazon who, you know, already knows who Kevin is, could go,
Yeah.
not only is it there, you know, it's selling. Hey, let's do another season.
Do
Because
they have
produ-
this? Do they have this
Amazon
seasons
does
on
produce. Amazon does produce original content. So in theory, is a network that could pick up
Right.
comic book men.
So does Amazon?
So if all unlike, I mean, iTunes is still not creating original content yet,
Right.
other than, you know, the shit that gets put out on the
Yeah.
iTunes site,
Right.
which Comic Book Men is. But the difference is if you go buy it at Amazon, you're telling Amazon Prime that you like this show,
And they could
you're
pick it
willing to
up,
spend
maybe.
money on this show, then maybe Amazon
Right.
will be willing to spend money on that show.
Okay, can I ask you a
So
quick
what I'm
question?
saying to you folks is, besides your tweets, fucking vote with your dollars. And in that case, I'm already ahead of all of you because I do own all the seasons on fucking
I was
Prime.
going to say, how many seasons do they have?
7.
They have all the seasons?
Yes.
Everyone
Every
all
episode.
seasons.
So there you go.
Now the thing is, if millions of people do that, Amazon's
Yes.
going to be like, hello.
Then you'll get the fucking show on the air and no
Yes.
protests need to be done. But you'll have to spend money to do it.
Let's do it.
And it's
dude.
like
We can do it.
$25, $30 a fucking season, too.
I know.
And that's times 7. So you're going to be in
Yeah,
for
that's
like $250, you know, by the time it's said
That's
and done.
$200, yeah.
But now I have had
All right,
the
well, if we
I've
can
had
do it-
I've had the ability of I bought them as they came. So therefore, you know, it didn't
Right,
feel
if
as
you-
expensive.
Well, it doesn't feel it if you do it all at once. It's like,
Yeah.
oh my God. Yeah, well, that's with most things.
So there
You
you
do
go,
it
folks. With
piecemeal.
the, people want, if you want Comic Book Men, go buy it on Amazon and tell Amazon you want it.
I like
That's
that
how
way.
you do it.
I know it's expensive,
It's
but
not
I think you
genius.
guys can do it. If you
It's
do
simple.
one a week.
It's voting with your dollars.
Do
which
one a week.
fucking every company respects. But what really fucking tells somebody something
Yeah.
is you spend your money on it.
Right. Right.
You're telling Amazon, look, I bought all the fucking seasons. I want another.
Yeah.
I don't even want to talk about it. No one will read that and go, what? It's just cruel. It's just cruel for cruelty's sake. And it's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
We're not really.
And I don't know how anybody could it's like,
Yeah.
here's what boggles my mind. We protect Kevin's brand
Yeah.
like as a fucking instinct.
We really do.
And we don't even think about it. And I wonder, does anyone else over there?
Well, the problem was when Brian Johnson did that, they
Think
don't
about this.
really know the show then. They don't really
What are
know
you
the-
associating with Kevin?
I know.
He worked there, for God's sakes.
I know.
Come on.
It's like shitting on the guy right there. But it's not good. It's not good. But
It's bad business.
Yes.
It's bad everything.
We try
and
to-
it's just
we try our best.
You know who I'd like to know? You know whose reaction I would love to see from that tweet?
Who?
Mark's wife. So without any further ado, here is this week's Spedlines about Comic Book Men.
That Man on Fatman presents The Smedlines with Askew News reporter Danielle Ryan.
And we hate to disappoint, but Daniel Ryan will not be on this special addendum report because it'll just be myself and Jean Holden, who is also here.
Hi, guys.
But Danielle does send her regards. She just wasn't able to put to come together on this breaking story. And the reason we're doing this is, for us, this is big news, and it broke either very late Sunday night or very early Monday morning.
Mm-hmm.
That Comic Book Men, Kevin Smith's show, is officially canceled. 7 seasons will be its last season. And so we did want to take some time and, definitely bring some attention to that fact.
Yeah.
And while it sounds like, a real bummer thing, I think it's bittersweet because it really is. How many shows go 7 seasons now?
I know.
Not many.
No.
And I'll bet you anything, the way TV does, contracts so they'll go to somebody and say, we're going to do a show. We'll produce 7 seasons, and we have the option to renew each season. So, but then when they reach the max of that contract, what happens is then they have to go back and renegotiate everything again. And so technically nothing is under contract anymore. So it becomes an expensive proposition to, 1, just contract the show again.
Right.
And then 2, that's when everybody says, well, the
you
show's
pay
a
the-
hit. Now you got to pay me
you
more
wanna-
money.
Right.
So
it
I'm
kinda-
sure that's what happened. But again, going to the max of a contract like that is a great thing.
And it doesn't happen often.
Yeah.
I think that they were lucky.
Now, just another thing I want
Talented, too, but lucky.
I hear a lot of fans of the show saying, oh, but they didn't make 100 episodes. Now, here's what I would say to you. Now, from season 2 on, the show was only 30 minutes. However, the first 6 episodes, which are the first season, are an hour in length, or whatever the TV time
What
for an
made
hour
them
is.
change it to a half hour?
I think if you do watch the shows, it really, it feels like it should be a 30-minute show.
Better. I don't know what. I guess they were trying to test it out.
Yeah, what it was going for,
right.
30 minutes sat a lot better.
Yeah, see, hour, I remember it dragging. I mean, I don't remember not disliking it, but it did kind of not flow as much.
Point being,
right.
You could cut those 6 shows into 12 half-hour episodes, not lose anything, and then you would have over 100 episodes. You'd have, 104?
Well, and they probably will do that for when they do, the DVD. Or
102, I think.
Yeah.
You'd have 102 episodes.
Because you'll be able to buy, the box set of the comic book now. I'm sure they'll do that.
But,
no?
However, as Kevin already pointed out on, on the show, they just for everyone, they themselves did a big wrap-up episode, and they talked about all of this on SModcast.
Right.
You can hear it on the latest SModcast. If you're a subscriber to this show and you're not subscribed to SModcast, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Shame on you. We love you, but shame on you.
But yeah,
okay?
so yeah, check out. He has the whole the Comic Book Men cast on.
It's the latest one, and it's done.
Yeah, it's very nostalgic,
yeah,
and they kind of talk about what we're talking about here. How really they should give themselves a pat on the back.
They should.
And
Kevin's an all-around good guy. I mean, and he just kind of confirms it again that he just, he made movies with his friends and he made TV shows with his friends, and he's just like everything about his friends and his family. And I think he's even more so now, just because of the heart attack and all that.
And I have to say, I am very grateful to the show Comic Book Men because I have some very fond memories, as a result.
Mm-hmm.
I met some really cool people. And, just quickly, for those who don't know, I'm going to play a cut in honor of the show, but also because I was honored to be in the last episode of Season 2. I sold an old Ralph Bakshi animation cell that I had. And, I had it for quite a few years. And people asked me, well, did you get, how much you get for it? Was it worth it? Of course it was worth it. I got to experience being on Comic Book Man.
Mm-hmm.
How much, now that show is gone.
Yeah. And what season was that? The first season?
What can you pay? Season 2.
Okay.
The very last episode.
Oh, that's right. It was the last episode.
It's like giant size. I can't remember the giant size episode. But here's a little cut from that. We'll just walk down memory lane.
Hey, how are you? What can we do for you today? I wonder if you're interested in buying this particular piece. It's from Ralph Bakshi's production of Lord of the Rings from 1978. It's an actual production animation cell.
Wow, look at that, man. You know what that is?
Frodo, Gandalf.
Oh, I thought that was Brian. Years before Peter Jackson, there was a Lord of the Rings feature. It was done by the animator Ralph Bakshi, the guy behind Fritz the Cat. He did a feature version, which was kind of like one of the first grown-up cartoon, kind of violent. There was war. It wasn't really aimed directly at kids. And until Peter Jackson stuff came along, was considered the high water mark in its day.
And you're looking to sell this, huh?
Yeah.
Robert, come here. Yeah. What do you think of this? You remember that?
Of course I remember that.
Rob Bruce.
It's nice. It's very nice condition. It's a piece of artwork that's becoming
It's in really
obsolete.
good condition.
And I think this one's worth more because of the poses of the characters. Eyes open,
Actually had the
looking
ring in
forward,
it.
a lot of expression.
How much is it worth?
Retail, this market right now, probably about $350.
All right. What do you want to get for it?
They also get my face of
About $325.
disappointment.
Well, yeah, because it's Walter.
I'll talk a little bit about some behind the scenes things.
That's probably the
He's like a
best I can do.
cheapskate. That's why.
200.
I can't go over 221 cents.
250.
250.
275.
Walter.
Fake Walt.
I can do 275.
Fake Walt.
All right, thanks.
I don't
Thank
know
you.
if that's fake.
10 years ago, you'd be like, I burn an animation. That's no place here. But now you're like, all right, let's throw it up on the wall and see what happens. And even as a geek, you're growing.
So that was my 5 minutes of fame on Comic Book
Yeah.
Man Season 2. And now, okay, behind the scenes, now they talk about this. Season 2 was where Brian Johnson essentially quit, you know.
Oh, yeah, because he wasn't able to be himself.
Yeah, he called up Kevin in a huff. If you listen to,
Yeah.
I guess it's the bonus. It would be the bonus pod
Right.
after the pod.
Oh, yeah, stay in with the
Yeah, they
the
kind of-
latest podcast because they do it, and then they do an extra 40 minutes after the
they
ads.
rehash essentially the history of the
Yeah,
stash.
they probably
I
just
was
took
going
a
to do
little
that too. I was going
Yeah.
to try and we should put a little history of the stash together.
Right.
But as we were listening, then at the end, I'm like, they did the whole thing.
Yeah.
We'll just send people there.
Yeah, I think they were just taking a break and then just, added on another 40 minutes. So make sure you listen to all of it.
Well, as Kevin explained, like a lot of people, if you're a fan, you already kind of knew that stuff.
Yeah.
So they did everyone a courtesy of kind of putting it at the end.
Yeah.
So another secret stash moment that you and I have that is directly kind of connected to all this was very early on. I'm not sure if I had even filmed with Comic Book Men yet or not, but we knew they were doing a live podcast in the city,
right?
Which was kind of rare, and I think it was at a club called the Academy.
Okay.
Only because I think I remember going and saying, "Wow, I'm pretty sure I saw punk shows here."
Right.
But anyway, and I remember it being this cool step down into the club.
Yeah.
So it's a really good show, and it's actually on their podcast feeds out there.
Okay.
They have a secret stash, podcast feed that was originally associated with the show, and they did a few shows in sync. They did a few podcasts in sync with the first season.
Uh-huh.
Then it was like a second season kickoff. That's right. Now it's all coming back to me now.
Were we at that?
Yeah,
Oh my
that's the
God,
show we were
where
at.
was it?
And if you listen to that podcast, at the end, I get the question off about, hey, in Clerks, the missing presence always seems to be Brian.
I remember that. Where was that?
What happened there, Kevin?
Yeah.
And I'm sure it had been on a record in a much earlier Smodcast or a Highlands of People history.
Yeah.
But I got them to, in a sense, another 20 minutes of the show, was basically telling the Brian story. And it's so funny, too, because I remember one guy in the crowd he's like, have we ever told this story again? And the guy was like, fucking tell it again.
I don't think I ever heard them explain that story before.
Yeah, well, you must have, because I must have played this to you because I was so excited.
No,
'cause
I mean
I got
before
my
that.
question off.
Before you asked that question,
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
remember them ever explaining that.
Yeah. They did.
They did.
But you have to dig, and
yeah.
you'd have to be like on board originally,
Right,
and all
right.
that kind of stuff.
Well, and a lot of people could have missed that.
Yes, and it all came down to some bad signage.
I know, right? I know.
About bubonic plague or whatever the hell it was.
Oh,
and
yeah,
incidentally,
that's right.
I believe that made it into Shooting Clerks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it did. I think that's.
yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
That was
so a
Mark
bit of that
Frost.
story is
Yeah, I
told
do remember that.
in the docudrama that is Shooting
Yeah.
Clerks. Okay, so so that is a very fond, like,
right.
not Tell 'em Steve, Dave, Secret Stash, Comic Book Men memory.
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry, I'm looking at my screen here.
That's okay.
Also,
Our kids were on there too.
our kids were on the show. Like,
Uh-huh.
I remember the first episode of season 2,
Right.
when they do some crowd cut scenes.
Uh-huh.
You see me,
Yeah.
and you do see the kids.
Yeah.
I'm a much fatter me. Another really
And Moi was not there, but that's all right. I don't
It's
think.
funny,
I think
you
I
never
was
made it
working.
on.
No, I think
That's
I was
so
working that
weird.
day, and the three of you went.
And it's so funny too because they're always looking for women on that show.
Well,
too.
and you always have to be ready spur of the moment, so it could have been like, oh, you got to come now, and
Yeah.
so it's kind of thing.
Yeah. Then another time, another fond memory has to do with Mark
I know.
Costello.
I was just thinking that.
Good time fellow who, it was during the 3rd season, and they were filming, and he's like, "Hey, come on down. I want you to be my Easter egg.
Yeah.
I want you to be in the background. But you have to wear the Fatman on Batman shirt,
Yeah.
so that I would look like the old
Yeah,
Thumbs logo
right.
we used to use. So in a sense, it would be Spot that man. So I forget which episode that's in, but that's another like.
Oh, so he told you to wear the ThatMan shirt?
Yes, and
I love
I was given
Marco.
direction.
Marco's so sweet.
And also, it was. I remember that there's a girl there who's cosplaying the Baroness, which is a G.I. Joe character. So those are things that jump out at me.
Right.
And of course, also, Marco, we were at, I think, the 3rd season wrap party.
Right. That was at the Surf Taco.
Yeah, it's at Surf
No,
Taco.
I don't think it was. No, maybe it was the one.
Oh, yeah, it was. They always kind of do it.
Yeah, they always did something there.
Oh, yeah. It was the last one at Surf Taco, too, because then they moved them out to, what do you call it? Astoria.
Yeah.
The beach that's coming back now.
Yeah, Asbury Park.
Asbury Park, thank you.
And that was a big.
Yeah, that was the first. But so
bar,
when they did it, the last time they did it at Surf Taco, I'm not sure if it was for 2 or 3, but Marco gave me his wrap gift.
I know.
Which was, the glasses
They're
that
right
I'm pretty
there,
sure you can buy now.
Yeah.
But back then you couldn't, and it has like a little season wrap
Well, and
note
we would
on it.
never sell them because
Yes,
they're
we
special
still
from
have
our
them.
friend. Yeah.
Yes, of course. God, no.
I know we're saying people sell them, but I don't know where you would get them unless they were.
They've been like a shrine because they have the Buddy
Right.
Christ and 2 angels, which are, in my mind, the 2 guys from Dogma.
Oh, so are
protecting
they
it.
actually sell them for sale at the
I believe they sell those glasses. You can buy
okay.
those glasses sets
Okay.
now, I think.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
Right.
So, yeah. But either way, we have them.
Yeah.
And
There
no
was
one's
a little
ever,
story, though, that they thought that they were missing or so. Someone saw them.
That came about later on. And
They
that
saw
was, someone was sold theirs on eBay.
And Marco was like,
and
you
Mike
didn't sell
Zapsik
them.
saw them there and got upset.
Yeah,
And I
but it
remember
wasn't
someone
us.
called me up and checked, and I was like, I would never
And we
fucking
took a
sell.
picture.
Yeah.
No, they're right here.
I am a fan. I love this shit.
Right.
And
those are special. Those are very, very.
and now they're even more special
They're-
after Marco passed and shit.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
They're very, very special to us.
Yeah. So, so that is another fond memory, and that I remember that party. I remember that was a great night.
That was a lot of fun.
A lot of fun that night.
That was when I met Mike Zapsik's wife. That's when I met Rob Bruce's wife. And I'm sorry,
I remember
don't
Gidim
remember
was
their
there.
names. Gidim was there.
I remember Gidim was there,
I
but
think we
Gidim
hung
was a
out, little drunk.
Yeah,
And
I don't know if drunk would be the right word, but
he looked a little disheveled.
impaired. Maybe?
Impaired is the word. Disheveled,
well,
impaired, whatever.
Well,
yeah. It definitely was nice. The food was good. I think we hung out with Ernie a little bit. A whole bunch of people.
Yeah. Who else was
Scott
there?
Schiaffo came
Scott
with us.
Schiaffo was there.
Yeah, it was fun.
I'm sure if you go back and listen to the episodes of this show,
that
we
was
probably talk about it.
Yeah, but
I
they've
remember
had a lot of
Ladondo was
events.
there too. Chris
yeah,
Ladondo was
but
there.
they've had a lot of events that they ask, invite people. Like they
Yes.
did that one episode when the
Well, there's the Superman one
there
where
was
they had a lot of
that,
people.
and then when Q was like hosting that comedy, the
yes,
comedy night.
yeah,
that was so
the
fun.
roast. There was roasts.
Brian Johnson stole the show in that one.
Yeah.
That was so funny.
And let's face it, so happy that Shooting Clerks
Yeah, they were the
got
final.
to be covered. It wasn't the final episode,
Oh,
but
it
they're in like the last few. Like,
Okay.
I want to say it's the last 3
Yeah.
in the countdown there.
Yeah, the timing was really
And
great
also,
for
you
that.
know what? Hey, the frickin' Jay and Silent Bob Guinness Book of World Records too is
yes.
also in this last season, and that was a
Yeah.
cool, happening, if you
Yeah,
will.
I mean,
and
whether-
a fun episode to watch.
Yeah. Well, there's some stuff like when you listen to SModcast, there's some stuff that Kevin says. I'm like, I wonder what will happen to the show. Because, I mean, there's a possibility that other things could happen with that show somewhere else.
What do you mean, Comic Book Man?
Yeah.
Well, it would have to be
Someone else might pick it up.
I guess that could happen, but again, if you hear the story,
Yeah.
of everything that was, if you hear that episode,
Right.
it's expensive to produce.
It really is.
I mean,
know.
everything is. If it's going to be legitimate and on TV,
But it's
blah,
cheaper
blah, blah.
if it's not a script.
Yeah, but it's still, you need a production crew. You need
Yeah.
a set.
Yeah.
Some of those things are easy. But, okay, so when the Secret Stash was shut down to shoot that show,
They weren't bringing money.
they were also, no, yes, they were. Because then the show paid them to do it, to film there.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay. Yeah.
So, there was all kinds of ways of, skimming off the top.
That's
if you
true,
will.
yeah.
But no, I mean, that's fair because they were shutting down a legitimate business to film a show.
Yeah.
So.
I'm just saying maybe another station might take it.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, we definitely wanted to make mention that
Yeah.
the show it had a great run. We want to congratulate the guys on,
right.
A really good run on TV. I know people say not 100, but I really think if you split those first season up, you got over 100.
That's a good idea. And don't stop going there. Check, say hi to the guys and tell them Steve Dave's still
Absolutely.
going.
And, with 96 episodes, even at that count,
right.
of a TV show in existence where you could buy it on iTunes.
Right.
You could buy it on Amazon, which is where we bought them. It will live in the consciousness of geek fans and Kevin Smith fans, and they can ride off the tails of that show
They could.
for who knows how long,
And I hope so.
Especially Ming and Mike, the con scene.
Well, and they have the ISL comics. They have
and then of course, and Brian Johnson and those guys have Tell 'em Steve Dave, and they're on Patreon now.
They're on Patreon now, and you'll hear more about that when you tune into.
Yeah, again, so
definitely tune into SModcast to hear more.
Yeah, and again, congratulations to those guys. It was a great run.
We'll miss you guys.
We enjoyed being a part of it, and when Kevin talks about how it was like a circus that pulled into town. And it really did, because going to Red Bank even when they were shooting, just because we were stopping in, sometimes you wouldn't be able to get in at a certain, because they were actually, rolling film at the time. And then there was another studio. Remember when that's another story. When we filmed Kevin for the documentary.
Oh my God.
Granted, it's not done yet, but we still fucking filmed him. And that was all, as they wrapped, what was it? I think it was season 5.
Yeah.
As they wrapped season 5.
And one of the producers just allowed us to just,
Well, originally they were going to have a shoot in the room where they do the pod segments.
Yeah.
But then, you and I both know this. Like, I talked about this in advance. I'm like, isn't there going to be some sort of, because that's AMC's stuff.
There was like contracts.
Do you think there's going to be like a fucking, some sort of problem there? Yeah. And so, and it turned out there was, and we had to move over to the staff.
But they were very nice. It didn't take long.
And Sunday Jeff was awesome that day, I remember. Yeah, so.
They're just great people, and AMC is a great group of people to work with, so they definitely, past all that, that Brian Johnson stuff.
If I go back, again, I said there was some behind-the-scenes stuff that I remember when I shot my segment, and that was during the season when Brian Johnson quit.
Right.
So I just remember him. He was around. He's not in that segment, but he did kind of leave in a huff at the time.
Oh, okay.
That day.
Yeah.
Like, you could tell he wasn't thrilled. It was kind of like, oh, we don't need you. Also, I just remember, what the heck? Yeah, they were very, the producers at the time were very much about this backstory of why the fuck I was selling this item. And the truth of the matter was, I was just selling it because I wanted to be on Comic Book Ben. You know what I mean? Which is probably why 90% of the fucking people will go sell stuff.
We would have kept it if we weren't going.
Yeah, exactly. It'd still be on the fucking wall because it was a nice piece.
Yeah, it is pretty.
But, that was...
Did anyone
So I had to come up with some cock and bull story about how we were going to Maine on vacation, all based in truth. But that fucking vacation was long over by the time that episode aired.
Yeah.
And it made no sense. So... It was, and even Walter at the time, I remember him making a mention of do we really have to do this? Because to make money, I think is really the reason why anyone's selling this stuff.
Right.
So
now, did anyone buy it? Do you know?
Well, Walter bought. Oh, yeah, it sold.
It sold right away.
Yeah. I'm sure it sold once the episode.
I wonder how much they sold it, like $400.
Because it was a nice piece.
Yeah.
I'd be curious too.
Yeah, I'm sure I at least got $400 for it.
I also floated late in I want to say season 6 or something, or when was it? No, it must have been when Marco was still around, because I floated the idea of bringing the glasses in and selling them back on Comic Book Ben. Marco thought it was hilarious, but it didn't really go any further than that.
I know, but the thought of it's like, ugh, because
hey, Michael, I got your hostage glasses.
Someone would try to do that though.
Yeah. So anyway. Hey, I got these on eBay. I thought you might be interested.
Yeah.
No, which is none of that would be true.
Right.
And anyone who doesn't know who Marco is, there's an episode where they sell underoos. Marco's the creepy guy selling underoos.
Yeah, and if you look closely on the window of the stash, there's a little memorial.
Yeah,
for
there's
Marco.
a memorial for him.
Yeah, so he's since passed, but he was definitely a good guy and a big part of the stash.
Yeah, at least probably.
And a part of Comic Book Men too.
I'm trying to figure out. Let's see. Would have been season 4 or 5?
Oh,
past 2 years ago.
4.
So I guess he would have been on up till season 4. Yeah.
4, 5, 6. Because he wasn't in 7, but he was in 6, wasn't he?
No, I don't think he was in 6.
4 and 5.
I think 4 might have been his last one to actually film anything, if he was in it. I'm sorry if we're going down this model.
Yeah, we're going down this rabbit hole now.
But again, like a lot of my a lot of my Comic Book Men memories are tied up with Marco. And
I know. Well, that's it because
he's a good guy.
Yeah.
And he worked in the stash at the time.
Keep visiting the stash too.
Now they would be tied up with cousin Johnny.
Right, because Mike will still be there. Walter will still be there.
Who actually took Marco's job.
Yeah. So just keep don't stop visiting them because
definitely.
Yeah. You still need to feel the love.
I think if anything, Walter is probably like, oh fuck.
I know he's thankful, but I think
I
there's
never have
some
to be
other
fake
stuff.
Walt again.
I think there's other stuff coming up for some reason for them.
Yeah, he's
all
good.
of them. And I think Walter's too talented not to, continue the comic book men stuff.
I think what Walter's going to do is they'll probably go back to doing the comic book stuff because Kevin's been talking about doing Batman again.
Yeah.
And now they'll have time. They won't be shooting a TV show, 6 or 3 months out of the year. So, and TESD will be producing more independent stuff on their new Patreon page. So,
yay.
We appreciate you letting you, vent on this little news segment and talk about it and reminisce. And again, we loved Comic Book Men as a show. We enjoyed it. We were involved in it to some degree, as fans could be. And, we'll miss it. We'll definitely miss it. But I'm glad that we can watch the old episodes.
Yeah.
And
I wonder if they'll do that, like play them on
will
reruns
will
on AMC.
They'll probably still be on for a little while, but who knows? I mean, they have the rights to. I don't know how syndication works as much.
I don't either.
I could see them putting out a disc set, but
I really do. I think that's
they're not. They don't sell like they used to. So
yeah, I wonder more because it's usually on Netflix.
They could do like a limited edition complete run kind of thing or something. Sell it for a couple $100.
They should do a box set. I agree with that.
But who knows? We have no news officially on that. But again, congratulations to all the guys, and it was a great show. We enjoyed it, a lot of fun, and it's going to stink to not have that extra connection to Kevin each week.
Yeah. So. Even though it was on late, I usually watched it the next day.
Yeah, exactly.
But
I'll
miss you guys. But they're not gone forever.
Yes.
They're still in New Jersey.
And there's all kinds of ways you can get your fix.
Yes.
Particularly via podcasts.
Yes.
So check them out. And until next time,
Adios.
remember, you're smart and good. And we'll see y'all later.
Bye, guys.
And ignore the part of the theme that says that it was with Danielle Ryan because she was not on this one. But we miss her.
This has been the Smedline
with my weird Bane accent outro.
With a Skew News reporter, Danielle Ryan. Follow her on Twitter @DannyRat.
And that was our Comic Book Men piece that we put up on YouTube.
Our little tribute.
That was very fresh. That was in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But also, since we're doing the Smedlines kind of thing, there has been a couple of other things that dropped.
Yeah.
It is now official, and now we will talk about this during the interview today. And that's part of the reason why. Okay, we have two guest segments in the can, but we're flipping the order with which we recorded them and originally intended to release them more because of content timing.
Yeah.
Because we have Big Daddy Jimmy V, who you all know him, big friend of the show. Just the stuff that we talked about with him
it fits in
just
with the
fits
timeline.
so much more relevant now.
Right.
But also, oddly, things that we talked about on a more personal note.
Yeah.
That definitely can stretch a little. We talked with our friends Joseph and Shaddai, and they will fit much better with next week's show when we'll also have updates on that situation, and it'll wrap up in a nice tighter bow.
Very good.
So
I like that.
Yes. And
We
we
try
may,
our best.
I don't even know. It may be fun to get Josephine Shaddai back on and do like a post.
Well, they did want to know about it.
Yeah, exactly. I might do a second part, which
They
may
did
even,
wanna know.
which may even, I don't know, may replace or be addendum to.
So let me say to them now, be careful what you pray for.
So if you're listening out there, we're probably going to be bothering you again on Skype this week.
You may get some material.
Yeah. We can work either way, though. So if you guys don't have time, that's fine, too.
Right.
And, yes, I appreciate the tweets and the requests for updates as well. That's why I want to talk to you guys more, because
Right.
Joseph's been sending some texts.
Oh, to find out?
Yeah, we want to get updates. So,
Aw, he's a cutie, that Joseph.
yeah, he is. Oh, God, fucking, he's ripped. It's scary.
I
When
know.
I see his fucking pictures, I'm like, is that real? Or is he using is he wearing a suit? You know, like one of those shirts that I would wear that has like fake
He
muscles
looks
built
good.
in it.
You look good, dude. Both of
Yeah.
you. They're very
God.
adorable. What?
Yeah. He's quite the twink.
Who? Yeah, but I don't think he is, though.
But he is, but he isn't. Anyway, I mean, he's not
He's
gay.
twink material.
Yes, he's not gay. Although he is willing to try. No.
Oh, my God. He is the boy that, that's not gay. That all of the gay boys
he's not
wanna-
afraid of making gay jokes,
Yeah.
which hats off to him.
Can you imagine, the ass grabs he must get from
Oh my God, especially when he's in that fucking Spider-Man outfit.
Damn.
Anyway, and he makes he's the perfect size and everything.
Size,
Yeah, because
yeah.
he's a small guy.
Right.
He's compact.
Right.
Anyway, so Josephine Shaddai will be next week.
Yes.
Sorry, guys. But this week we have Big Daddy Jimmy V. And one of the things that Big Daddy Jimmy V and I did, it's so funny because we have these other friends who are outside of this realm. And that's part of the reason I love them. Because in that way, it's genuine, and we know that they're into us because of us and not because of all this crazy crap. And, not that they have disdain for this, but, they just don't have interest.
Yeah.
I was explaining, and now I don't even remember what the fuck I was saying.
I don't even know who you're talking about.
Ellie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we have these friends who are, outside of this universe, and it's not their thing. And so...
But they're supportive and sweet.
Yes, yeah. But, it was like, we had just done this interview with Big Daddy Jimmy V. First of all, the name to normies is probably a little suspect.
Mm-hmm.
But then, so I was like, I think I put it to her something like this. If I told you the subject matter with which we discussed for 20 minutes with such crazy depth, you would think I was nuts. So I said to this normie, essentially, if I told you what we talked about for 20, 30 minutes, you'd think we were nuts. And she said, all right, I got to know then. I said, basically, we speculated about Kevin Smith's next career projects.
Yeah.
Just pure speculation,
Yeah.
some based on facts, some based on, just fantasy.
Or
mine
something
was,
that you want.
Yeah, mine was more I'm talking about the one with fucking what's his name? With Snoop Dogg.
Oh my God.
I would love for Kevin to have been in Vegas working with Andy Finneran.
I know.
Andy Finneran.
Andy
Finneran. Andy Finneran's a friend of mine.
Yes.
Andy McElfresh.
We love Andy and Val. How you doing?
Yes. Hey, it's a way to shout you guys in there.
Actually, they're in Madrid right now. I'm very jealous.
In Spain. Anyway, so yeah, what was I saying? Andy and...
Yes, Andy McElfresh on Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, so, but, okay.
And Kevin.
Tying this all back together, before we get into the Big Daddy Jimmy V.
What did she say when you said that?
Oh, she was just what could she say? She was dumbfounded.
If these people like us with all of this weirdness, they're definitely keepers.
Yeah.
So let's just move it.
It's again, there was the other, there is stoners have terms for things that are just odd. Now, apparently, if you make something that's basically a filter system, which is essentially like a soda bottle stuffed with dryer sheets.
And who came up with this?
I have no idea.
Who
But
did you learn?
but it is on the internet.
It does work, but just don't suck in.
Anyway, I assume that it works.
Yeah.
I assume that you assume that it works. In that case, though, it's the name of the thing that
I hate
is
it.
so. It's
I
like
hate it.
because then you have to go and mix company and say, "Will you pass me the splooge?"
Splooge.
Splooge.
But spooge is
Splooge.
jism. I know, but it's so close to spooge.
I'm just saying.
It
All right,
even
so
could be splooge. You could even call that splooge too.
So I mean so. Kind of in the same vein. That's why we bring that up.
What's up with like stoners? It's such a
Just,
stupid.
so yeah, and that's kind of like how I felt about explaining aspects of our show. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like feels just as stupid. You know what I mean?
Like we're making
It's like, let me explain to her the Kevin splooge.
like snoogans.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Snoochie boochies.
Boochies.
Even me using the term sir as much as I do, I think kind of feels suspect, or she thinks like I'm fucking ex-military or some shit. Anyway. God.
You didn't call her sir, did you?
God love him. God, I would call her. I call her sir.
Well, yeah, but not like.
I think she'd like that. That actually, I gotta say, that's the time. That's when I knew I really dug her, when she said, "I'm a feminist."
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was like, "Right on, girl. You go."
Well, she should be, but
Yeah.
anyway. Go ahead.
All girls should be, but we're talking about someone we know, a friend. The friend who
The same
has
person
no,
we were just
the
talking
friend
about.
has no sense in this
We're
world.
talking about the same person
Yes,
the whole time.
Yes. Well, there's actually two of them, but we're just talking about the one in
Yeah.
particular. Because she had comments. I gotta get off this and get into the guest. All right, so the two news stories I guess we can get out of this that have come since we have Kevin News is we will talk about this with Big Daddy Jimmy V, but it has been announced it is official. The show, what was it, Hollyweed, has been picked up and will be on will be able to be seen somewhere sometime soon. And many know Kevin had to reshoot the end scene, and he's been showing some comparisons online to, like 2 years ago or 3 years ago when, he was still greatly overweight pre-heart attack, and recently where he's lost all that weight and looks excellent, but it still kind of works.
Yeah, there's a cute little, if you go to his Twitter page, there's a cute little picture of him, like, I think he's just like standing in front of the
a shout out to
the storefront.
I want to do a shout out to a listener who sent us an autographed picture of the Hollyweeds.
Yes.
Like from the set.
Mm-hmm.
Dank Delivery.
Our friend Dank Delivery sent us.
He's a listener on Twitter.
It's my favorite picture of Kevin.
Yeah, it was like one day that came in
Because
the blue. And I always felt weird. I'm like, wow, he's sending us autographed stuff. I'm thinking to myself, but we get autographed stuff all the time. But I'm so glad he did, because that became such an interesting shot.
And now it's like,
and then it was sort of like even more rare because the show was supposedly canceled and
but
gone
now
away.
it's really
and now it's back.
I just love it. He has the hair. Like, remember if you guys saw the Fatman on Batman at the cantina, he has that hairpiece.
I said it a few times. All those like shows about weed stores that came out all pretty much failed. I think there's one
this is
hanging.
gonna be a good one.
Why the fuck wouldn't you have gone with the Kevin one? Duh.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
It's like not going with the Cheech and Chong weed show.
Do you think he'll
or
have
the fuck?
his,
you know what I mean?
Do you think
it's
he'll
like,
have his friend? Do you think he'll have his friends?
We're gonna go with the Laverne and Shirley weed show instead of the Cheech and Chong weed show. That's a real smart executive decision someone made.
Do you think that Kevin will have his friends on the show? Like,
well, Garman's on the show, already. Ralph Garman's on the show.
No, we're talking about like
I think over time,
Walter
I think people will come in. You'll get, because it's a store, it's a shopping. You have the shopping. Basically, Kevin has already said it's clerks in a weed store.
Yeah, but I wonder if it'll be like a real store like later.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
Oh my god, that would be so cool. It's not like we live there. We don't live in a state that it's legal.
Yeah, that'd be funny if like. What do you call it? Jane's Pop's secret stash becomes basically a head shop.
Oh my god!
A fucking,
but when it becomes legal, it could. I guess it really depends on the area.
And it's all about...
Yeah.
You have no idea what, as of now, because of state versus federal and all that stuff,
and President
what a pain in the ass it is to run a distributorship.
And as
the
we
best
know,
aspect of most of these legalization laws are the states that allow people to grow.
Right.
Because then you don't have to worry about any of that shit.
Yeah. I'm telling you guys, though, keep your eyes open and keep your eyes on Trump because things might change.
Everyone should
Keep your
fucking
eyes
do yourselves
open.
a favor and read the scariest book I've fucking read. And I'm not done with it, but every chapter scares the living shit out of me. And basically, it's the one by Malcolm Nance.
Yeah.
It's
the latest one.
It's not it's like the War on Democracy.
The War on Democracy.
Yeah, it's like and really what it is, I'll tell you, it does the good job of summarizing so far the whole plot that Russia's run. And it starts from soup to nuts. It associates it with what you see in the news, but it also gives you all this deep background stuff that is utterly frightening.
It is
because
frightening.
Here, I mean, what that book is laying out, and it's so evident from like this week's. Now, think he wrote this. This was edited. This had to go to an editor. This has been through, all that shit. And within this week, the stuff that he's talking about essentially the Russians have infiltrated the Republican Party. And then this week, 5 or 10 Republican senators go off to Russia to suck their balls.
They did.
Jesus fucking Christ.
They want to be friends. That's what they said. We want to be friends. Why can't
Folks,
we be
I am
friends?
so scared. I mean, you guys, I say this, I'm just a podcaster, but okay, look at the precursors to how Rome fell and the precursors to how Germany fell to Nazism. Just look at those things and just look at what's going on.
Okay, can I say today?
And I don't want to be, that sounds alarmist, but we're beyond alarm.
Right. Even today,
there's concentration camps in the United States of America.
Just today something came out that they might pass something that employers can not hire somebody because they're gay. So now
So more legal discrimination.
Right. So what we're saying is be scared, keep your eyes open, but don't freak out.
And next it'll be
March.
No, because next it'll be you're being gay is illegal.
Right.
And you can be jailed.
Do what you can. Try not to get anxious. If you do, talk to somebody. But please, please, please don't close your eyes to any of this. Keep your eyes open, please, because you have to see and know what's going on.
What's so funny is Americans just are so oblivious to the fact that it can happen here.
I know.
They've lost all creative thinking. And the dumbest ones, seriously, and I mean dumb, you're stupid, you're moronic, you're easily led.
Losers, sorry.
Idiots and automatons, and you have some sort of resentment against basically, I don't know, anyone not white. You people that's like the worst. That's Trump's base.
Right.
So the American Nazi Party, essentially, or whatever you want to call that racist movement that can't handle being called racist but hates black people the most. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that group is now in charge of the Republican Party.
Yeah. And what's sad is a lot of them don't have a pot to piss in.
And most of them
they don't have a pot to piss
it all
in.
goes back to this Duginism and these Russian philosophers. It's so sick. It is so
sick.
It is infiltrated the Republican Party and its doctrine, a lot of its thinking.
So just know they're not looking out for you, and take time for yourself, and don't get obsessed with all this stuff.
Yeah. And ironically,
take time for yourself.
The people who are most involved in the Duginism and shit are usually in the Tea Party.
Right.
What a strange thing.
The lack of of
All right, well, this is a
kindness
political
towards
moment. I don't even know where we are in the show anymore.
Well, it's not really political. It's even like the kindness towards people, human life.
Jesus Christ, man.
Human life is being thrown down the toilet.
It's scary, and it's weird that no one, like, I want at least somewhere we acknowledged, it is what, July 5th, July 6th?
Today?
2018.
Oh, today's July 9th, I believe.
July 9th, 2018. America has concentration camps in it.
Yeah.
That were originally open for children, but now any immigrant will do.
Well, they're keeping families now, so no, like I don't even know if that's true. Like I can't really believe.
Oh yeah, and they separated families for no reason, and now have 2,000 or so children.
Yeah,
who essentially they've just kidnapped.
Yeah, I think it's 3,000 now as of Thursday or Friday.
And if kidnapped, they had no plan, they had nothing.
Well, and now they're trying to get an extension because there was a time frame now. Because yes, they're a judge.
By a judge.
A judge said yes. This is a time frame. So now we're doing an extension.
No one cares. No one.
Well, they do, but
here's what you need to know.
Just keep your eyes open and just keep your.
Shit's getting scary, folks.
Keep your head
this
straight.
Russian shit.
Keep your head straight and do what you can. If you can give
the
a little money.
The most important thing is keep your eyes on these elections.
Yes.
These are going to be hacked.
Yes, grab your friends.
These
and go.
are going to be hacked.
I don't know if you or I or anyone
they are going to be hacked.
Can do anything about that.
Here's the other thing. Here's what I'd really like the FBI or whoever does this to investigate. Because it hasn't been investigated. Because no one's thought to look.
Okay.
How much actual Russian hacking, meaning changing results of voting, was done and affected the Republican primary? Just a thought. Just because no one ever talks about that.
They never talked about it? I thought they did that.
Nah, no one ever talks about it. I'm talking about the Republican primary that Donald Trump won.
Yeah, I thought that they
no one has looked.
hacked that too.
Oh, I believe the Russians.
But no one's
definitely
ever
hacked that shit.
Yeah, they're talking
Without
about only the
doubt.
election. They're not. Talking
it was
about...
so easy because no one was even looking. That's how easy it was. That's how easy it was to make Trump the nominee.
Yeah.
Nobody was even looking, and even if they
Trump
were
wasn't even looking.
no one wanted to see. You know what I mean? They weren't gonna. No one was gonna call foul on each other. They weren't gonna call recounts on each other.
Right.
Russia had America right where it wanted it. That's all that book says. It's so fucking scary how stupid we are.
So check out the book. We're not saying this to scare you, but it's okay to be scared, but you just have to still move. Like do something, get a part of like your local stuff.
It's nice to be informed.
If you're helping locally, it makes you feel better. So try to do something locally. I mean, it's we know we can't all change what's going to happen at our election place, but if you can give a little money, try.
All right.
So don't be scared.
Here's one way that you can get your mind off it. You can listen to Big Daddy Jimmy V here on That Man on Fatman, episode 5-14.
Yeah, he's not scary.
On this date, July 9th, 2018.
Oh my God, I hope it's July 9th. After
I hope so
said
too.
It like twice. Oh, it's July 8th?
July 8th.
I think you said 8th too. First.
2018. I might have actually... We might drop this on the 9th.
I think you said the 8th, and then I corrected you to the 9th.
No, I think I said the 6th. I was like way off.
Oh, God, we have no idea what the date is. But anyway,
it's 4th of July. It's messed us all
The
up.
last couple of days here have been absolutely magnificent weather.
Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Yes. And I feel good because I'm walking 2.5 miles a day.
I know.
There you go.
Exercise.
Without any further ado, here is Big Daddy Jimmy V, motherfucker.
Big Daddy. Does Big Daddy have like a...
Big Daddy Jimmy V.
Let's get ready to rumble.
The thingy biggy boo. There it is. Big Daddy Jimmy V, everybody. Yep.
And now, here's our guest.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Good.
We're hanging in there.
Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent.
How is your lovely wife? She looks great.
She's doing good. We've both been doing our calorie counts and working out.
Yeah, you've been doing a lot of stuff.
Are you guys weight watching?
No, we don't weight watch because why pay for something that we can do on our own?
Yeah, you really can do it.
If you're, that's like us. We've done so much Weight Watchers. We really could do the plan without the actual. Weight.
Really
well,
is,
and
like,
we don't. I don't understand the point system or anything like that. All we know is we go. U.S. daily balance is 2,000 calorie intake, and so if we limit ourselves to 1,500,
that's what I do too. Exactly.
Then we're going to lose weight.
That's exactly what I do. You guys are brilliant.
I know,
We're
it's
all
so
brilliant.
easy, right?
It really
Keep
is.
your mouth closed.
And you really have to. And a lot of people need to write it down, and it's a good thing to start doing. But once you get the hang of it, you don't have to write it down anymore. Because I know me, I pretty much eat the same things usually, so I can kind of I pretty much know how much it is then.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the same way. I can eat whatever I want to. I just keep track of what the calories are.
Right.
She has to write it down, and so she puts it on her app and then keeps track. And
Good for her.
Yeah. So
Yay,
good way.
fitness. Woo.
Just
and then
just to
like
let the audience know for a second, the
and-
dulcet tones that you hear at the other end is none other than Big Daddy Jimmy V, who we're welcoming back to the show.
Yes.
Hello.
We can easily jump right in with him.
From
So.
LA,
yes.
and we're just chatting
and
about
beyond.
healthy habits. And,
but
healthy.
we just I used to drive every morning for a job 45 miles in LA traffic. So it would take me anywhere from an hour to an hour and a half to get to work and then back home. So that was my podcast listening time. And since I got into business for myself and work from home, I don't have that time. I found that I don't have that time anymore to listen to podcasts and just get inside my head, because when you work from home, your head is always in your business.
Very true. Very true.
So with that, I found that, going to the gym every morning, spending 40 minutes on the treadmill, going 3 miles, between running and walking is my podcast time. So it's when I listen to the Ralph Report, I catch up on podcasts, and I'm able to get back into my own headspace like I was doing when I was driving to and from.
It's funny you say that, because I started walking again recently, and I noticed that, at the end of my walk, I have ideas that I didn't have before. You know what I mean? Like, oh, wait, we should do this, and we could do that.
Exercise does spur a lot of creative thoughts.
It's so interesting how that happens.
Well, and then, so you can listen to your podcast, and I know some people, think that listening to something while you're running or walking takes away from kind of the experience. I know people that get into a meditative state just from the rhythm of the foot pounding.
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah.
They're very easy to do. But with listening, it works for me.
Yeah,
so
me too.
I do it every morning. I do 3 miles, and I'm down 30 pounds now between that and just limiting my caloric intake.
Yeah.
So fun. Everyone's on a health binge ever since Kevin had a heart attack.
Well, Kevin's lost like 50 pounds. He looks amazing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
God. And I know, a bunch of people I know are doing kind of the same thing. I started this the day the Ralph Report dropped for the first time.
Oh, okay.
Because I said, you know what? If I'm paying $20 a month to support Ralph Garman and his podcast, the Ralph Report, I might as well use that as kind of like my faux gym membership. And so whenever he drops a new podcast, I've got to go walk or run or do something like that. And so that's just how it works.
Wow,
that's a good way to do it.
A good motivation.
Because it's a 5-day-a-week podcast, too.
Yes.
Right?
So you're going to have to do something active each day.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, and so it's good. And there are times when I miss it. And we went on vacation. We were in Florida, and I went to the gym twice to do my walk kind of thing. And so, it's very odd living on this side of the fitness fence.
Yeah.
You live so long on the couch potato side, eating Big Macs and ice cream stuffed donuts and just food.
Wait a minute, are we giving this up?
Yeah, where is that?
Well,
I want one now.
but
everything in moderation.
without care or concern.
Yes.
Yes.
You know, and that's kind of, part of our problem when we have, there's more obese people in the U.S. than there are people starving.
It's insane.
So that's just a fact of numbers, and so it's crazy. So we're at, like Penn Jillette said on one of Kevin's recent SModcasts, is and I picked up the book Sapiens by Yuval Harari.
The one that sort of inspired him to lose weight.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, kind of, but really, I mean, Sapiens is a history of humankind, and it's you look at things like obesity and stuff, and for our entire generation of our species, for the last 70,000 years, we have basically been bred to consume as many calories as we can because we don't know where the next source will come from.
Yeah.
And we're having to do things like fatten up for winter and it's only been in a brief wink of an eye of time that we have now said, okay, we need to reduce the amount of calories that we're taking in because we're taking in too much, and science and medicine have shown that by reducing the caloric intake you increase your lifespan. So those kind of things are coming together only recently when you look at 70,000 years of human history.
And actually, if you look at that same span, too, you'll notice that population and all that shit didn't really become like it did until the Industrial Revolution. Prior to that, humankind stayed at pretty much a very flat population level. The only major dip was the bubonic plague. And then after that, it stayed steady until Industrial Revolution. Industrial Revolution then brought about, hey, I have leisure time. I can have more kids now.
It's an interesting read for sure. So highly recommend checking the book out and just kind of reading about human history. So as it relates to where we are now.
Hey, what
which
Kev
is
sorry, I was gonna say what
sorry,
Kev, I'm trying to stay away from Trump tonight. But what Kevin shows have you been to lately?
We just went to a Babylon, one of whatever the last one they had at the Improv.
Okay, how was that?
A couple weeks ago. It was good. It was a good show. It was a long show. It was the one post Drake video where Kevin was spent the first 45 minutes of the show regaling us with that tale. So.
That was so great.
Yeah, the video is really good. Were you at the first show back post heart attack at the Scum and Villainy?
Yes,
because our friends Joseph and Shaddai from California were there, or from Texas were there.
Oh yeah. No, I was there.
I think she had her blue hair.
Yeah, she probably had blue hair or pink hair.
Yeah.
I was probably. I know for sure that I was there with Nate and Cat Ears.
Okay.
Okay.
At the show. So we kind of are like regulars at that show, and so we always sit together in the booth right in front of where they stand. So.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Usually when they get to that audience portion,
I think they were right in front too. They said.
Yeah.
What's
they
that?
said that they were right in front too that night.
We'll have to go back and look at the shot.
Yeah.
We just recorded with them the other night.
There are 3 right in front areas.
Oh, there are? Okay.
Yeah. So as you are looking at when you watch the video of Fatman on Batman, most of the time it's that front shot.
Yeah.
That front shot is taken from a booth. They have a camera hung from the ceiling that takes that shot, and it sits right over the booth that Cat Ears, Nate, and I, and everybody sit at.
Oh, okay, so you're right by the camera. Cool.
Yeah, so we're right under the camera, basically. So that's our view the entire time. And when they do the pickup shot of audience members asking questions, and the audience member is standing kind of against the wall there between the 2 booths, depending on which camera they use, because I believe they've got a 3-camera setup in there right now. JC's got, I think they're working on maybe a 4th, but he's got a lot of things he's working on. We talked to him about. But they're 3-camera shot. There's a camera that's over the entrance that kind of shoots, and you'll see the bar coming in from the right-hand side of the screen. You'll see Mark and Kevin kind of center, and then you'll see the booze and the person asking you the question on the left. That's the entrance shot. And then there's a camera that sits behind Kevin and Mark that is focused just on the area where the people ask questions from.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that. Yeah.
And that straight shot, you see the booth that's on the left.
Yeah, you get like a kind of an angled shoulder shot of the person asking the question. Yeah.
So the booth that's on the left is the booth that has the camera and that does the front shot all the time that we usually sit at. And then there's the booth on the right. And there are a bunch of booths. It's just because of where they stand, depending on where you sit in the booth, you're going to be angled. But those are just the booths that are against the wall. On either side, on Kevin's left, as you look at the front shot, and on Mark's right are 2 more areas of chairs.
Oh, okay.
That are set up, in that open area. And so there are, like I said, there are multiple front sections. Right. You could be sitting in a booth and be at the front. You can be sitting on Kevin's left or Mark's right and be at the front. So.
And by the way, to my buddy, Rob McCausland out there who's listening, this is the guy you want to see when you go to fucking...
Big Daddy Jimmy Vig.
Yes, this is the guy you want to meet up with when you go into the fucking Scum and Villainy bar.
Search me out. Just look for Cat Ears when you go to Scum and Villainy, and you'll know Cat Ears because she's got the glowing headphones that have cat ears on them. So just look for Cat Ears and ask for Big Daddy, and we'll look it up.
And Rob is he's a very bald gentleman. He looks like kind of like Mr. Clean.
Yeah, he's a good friend.
Yeah, he's a very good friend.
He
was actually an usher at my wedding.
I was also. He was.
Yes, isn't that funny?
Yeah.
He was actually an usher at our wedding. Kind of.
We have a lot of Fatman on Batman coming up here in July. They're pretty much doing one every week.
Right.
We've got one on the 3rd that I'll be going to because the following day is the 4th and I don't have to go to work.
Yay, holidays. Woo,
which means not turning on my email for the day.
Isn't that great? And you get to sleep in and you can just
sleeping in for me doesn't exist.
Well,
anymore.
I know what you mean, but it's kind of like not the rushing of getting ready.
Yeah. No worries about having to answer emails or stuff because nobody else is working.
Yeah.
So after talking to Steve the Knight, we're putting Vegas on our agenda.
Yes, we're trying very hard.
You guys are looking at Vegas for the Why Not Con 2018, September 7th through 9th.
And it'll be very nice this time because no fucking shooting movie stuff.
I love
you
how
can just
Big Daddy
enjoy
said it,
and podcast and have fun.
He said,
well, I'll tell you, check it out on Twitter, Why Not Con. Look them up. The 2018 plans right now, September 7th through 9th, Las Vegas. The hotel, I don't remember off the top of my head.
Okay.
I don't remember either, but I know that Steve told us.
Okay.
It is, and it's on the web. It's on the. You can find it on Twitter via the Why Not Con thing. But it's going to be good. It's right across the street from either I think Caesars or the Bellagio, one of the two.
Nice.
But it's
I loved
smaller
Vegas
venue.
the last time we were there.
Yeah.
Not one of the big ones like Planet Hollywood.
I almost like that better.
Yeah, but it'll be nice and tight.
I appreciate.
But we're thinking about trying to figure out, getting to LA.
Yeah.
So are you driving to Vegas?
I don't know yet.
Okay. Because if you're driving back, maybe we'll hitch a ride with you and then figure out how to get back to Vegas to fly out.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Or we can just leave from
I
LA.
don't know if I'm going to fly in on Friday or drive.
Gotcha. I mean, just put it out
Either
there.
way, we can just fly.
Yeah, or we can rent a
LA
car
and
or
drive to
whatever.
Vegas.
Yeah.
Just like we did with
you could totally
Big
do
Daddy
that
Jimmy
too.
Vig. You know what I mean?
Vegas is going to be. I've got to look at it.
It's like
I know
5 or
because
6 hours.
we've got some trips coming up. I just spent a good amount of money on a kilt.
Yes, I saw that.
Because we definitely want to hit the Scum and Villainy. Like if we're in Vegas, why we're so close?
Right.
You know what I mean? Why not go?
Yeah.
Well, we certainly are looking at. I've got an event that I leave for the following Saturday, the 15th, that I fly up to Oakland. I've got a 3-day event, so I'll be busy. I might have some work to do, like I did when I was on the Las Vegas trip.
Yes.
I might have some work to do with my boss that's out there because that's our group.
Now going
But
back
that's
to
cool
your,
because that makes it a work trip.
now going back to your kilt, sir.
Yes.
I did very much.
Oh,
like
yes,
that.
yes. Sexy lips.
It looked nice on you.
Thank you.
I
Well, you know
applaud
what?
that look.
Any guy in a kilt, women love kilts.
Yeah.
It's very attractive.
They love you even more in a dress.
Yeah.
It has
Women love kilts.
It really
It's
do.
a fact of nature. And if you're
Yeah.
a guy and you
It has a
have
set-
some balls,
Yeah.
fucking go out and buy a kilt.
Now, what's
man.
the proper name for the purse that you wear with the kilt? There's like
Sporal.
Sporal.
It's a
Sporal.
That's it.
Yeah.
Gosh, we
I
always
I knew
wear
there was a
them.
proper
either
name.
Let me just double check. It's either a sporal or a sporin.
Yeah,
I
okay.
forget. But I'll double check real quick. No,
That's basically
it's-
because you have no pockets.
No. Here's the thing. A lot of the kilts today, you go with a utility kilt.
I didn't know
because
there was
what
such a thing.
a utility kilt is, I mean, they have utility kilts that people in construction wear. You know,
wow.
They have utility kilts, and all the
it's a
utility kilts I've
sporin.
seen have pockets.
It's a sporin.
It's only
Okay.
yeah. The sporal is
Sporan, apparently.
It's a sporan, a traditional part of male
Yes.
Scottish Highland dress.
Yes.
Is
Yeah,
a pouch
and that's-
that performs the same function
As a pocket,
pockets.
yes.
Yeah.
But it's right by
the
your balls.
Sporan, though, what's interesting, I've seen like a utility kilt. You don't wear a sporan with utility kilts.
Okay.
Because utility kilts have pockets.
Oh yeah, so you wouldn't need that. Yeah.
You know, they have all that stuff. So
I do like them. I
in
like that
fact,
you
there's
got
a
one.
utility kilt that I've got my eye on that can hold 21 bottles of beer.
Wow. Fucking A.
Damn.
Right? So
But that can't be
I mean,
comfortable.
come on.
That can't be comfortable. I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
What's the weight on that?
Well, I think it.
Well, it's a
where there's a will,
heavy
there's
duty
a-
denim, but these are kilts that come with
21 beers. What does one
21
beer weigh?
I don't know, but 21 beers is certainly going to weigh
That's
a lot.
like 21 pounds, I'll bet, at least.
No, not that much.
Oh,
You're gonna
think
be
about
packing.
a pound of beer.
Well,
Maybe.
I don't know.
I'm
not
terrible
sure
at like judging weight
You'd
or
be like
judging
dragging-
crowd sizes or
You'd
anything.
be like dragging the kilt.
Someone
behind
tells
you.
me like 1,000 people or somewhere,
I
I'll
think
say,
the
sure.
kilt would fall
that's right.
down.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but the
exactly.
sporin though, the sporin's for formal kilt
Yes.
wear. So like
Yes.
if you're wearing your tartans and things like that.
I do think the whole look is very sexy and cute in the same time.
And that's the thing, man. With utility kilts now, you could. I'm debating wearing my utility kilt with my Scum and Villainy T-shirt on Tuesday,
Oh, there you go.
just to have JC pick me as one of the people to ask questions.
There you go.
Oh, I want to
like
see
it as if he
you.
wouldn't pick
Yes,
you
do
anyway.
it. Do it, because then we
Do
can
you
see
have
it
questions
later.
still? I mean, think about that.
Of course.
Oh
he
yeah,
does.
no.
There's always
I've got
questions.
a great question for both Mark and Kevin that I want to find out. And if I get there on Tuesday, if I get the chance, I want to ask this
Oh,
question.
good, and we can see you in your kilt. Wear your kilt. Yes.
Wear the kilt and the short sleeve
yes,
Scum and
it would be
Villainy
great.
T-shirt.
Yes.
Just rock it.
I also feel weird kind of now asking questions because, like, why should I hog the time kind of thing? You know what I mean?
Oh no! This
want you to.
this is right up their alley too. I mean, I don't know if you guys read the comics or anything right now, but in the latest, the Flash number 49,
Uh-huh.
they have the Flash and Wally West are in a high speed kind of chase fight, and their speed, they're going so fast, their shockwave is threatening to destroy the Earth. So they've got to get Superman to try and stop them, slow them down or whatever, get them to stop.
Uh-huh.
And Superman takes a couple seconds to try and catch him, and when he comes back, he's out of breath and he's breathing very heavily, and he said, I couldn't catch them. They're too fast. They're going too fast. I couldn't get them. So in the comics, they have established that Flash is the faster of the two. However, in the TV shows
Which
and
makes
the
sense.
movie, DC has Superman being as fast as.
Right.
And I'm just curious as to which side of the spectrum they they fall. Do you believe the comics or do you believe the TV show?
I think Flash
would believe, I would believe the
Flash
comics
is...
because why else would Flash be special then? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Plus, he
right, but I'm curious to find out what Mark and Kevin.
Yes, but I'm so intrigued by your question now. I have to answer.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
Plus,
Everybody's got. I think it's the comics too.
Yeah. Plus, Flash is doing something that Superman isn't, in that he's vibrating his molecules so fucking fast that he can pass through solid objects and shit.
Right.
Well, and the other thing too is, I mean, Wally and the Flash and Jay West and those, they have access to, or Jay Garrick, they have access to the Speed Force.
Yes. Which is sort of like
Superman is just going really fast.
Yes.
So I think the Speed Force plays obviously a role in making them able to vibrate their molecules and pass through things. And
So
stuff like that.
You would think that even on the
speed.
show that would be the case,
Right.
because they
That
always
would be
talk
the
about the Speed Force and shit.
So, but in the TV shows and the movies, I mean, BVS being the latest debacle of, where he, or not BVS, but Legion of Superheroes, Justice League.
Okay.
Where Flash is running at him and he I can see you and I can move just as fast. And even in the CW world, they have Barry Allen and Supergirl going, okay, let's race, see who's faster.
Yeah, they did
They did that thing at the end of the one,
Yeah.
and so they're playing it.
That was more like nostalgia, though. That didn't feel like the real thing.
It
didn't feel like canon, if you will. And plus, you don't Also, think about it. That was when Supergirl was in the CBS universe.
Yeah, that's true. Didn't they do it at the last one where they did the?
Yeah, it was like the last CBS episode. They or the last time they did a crossover before they did the big one when they came back to the CW.
Musical crossover where Arrow and
it sucks because I've fallen out of CW because there's so much. Let's face it, there's so much to fucking watch now. It's so impossible to keep up with everything.
I can't keep up with everything. I am not that ultimate fan.
Yeah.
I keep up with the ones that I've watched still. Like, I've fallen out of Arrow and I've fallen away from Legends.
Yeah.
I've fallen away from Gotham a long time ago.
Oh yeah, me too. All those I've also fallen away from.
I still keep the Flash and Supergirl going. I haven't gotten into Black Lightning.
Didn't that get canceled though?
I don't know.
I think that
I never got into it.
Yeah, that was a one-season deal. It's already been nixed. Yeah, so you missed it.
There you go.
Which is part of the reason I worry about, if I don't watch this show, is it going to go away? Oh no.
But here's the thing:
are you a Westworld watcher?
Oh yeah. So some things can go away, and that's okay in this day and age because you're going to be able to find the entire season 6 months from now on some streaming service of some type. So I can forego Black Lightning now. I can forego Gotham or Arrow, and I can catch up later online if I decide to get back into it.
Well, I have not watched the last episode of Westworld yet, the one that just dropped, and which is the season finale.
Well, I will warn you right now. When the credits start to roll, do not turn it off.
Okay, cool.
Maybe
I did watch it. Maybe I did watch it.
There is a post-credit scene.
Yeah, I did watch this. I think I was kind of sleepy, but I remember. I think it kind of rolled, and I saw that. Yeah. Yes. Well, I love that show. I think it's one of the most brilliant shows on TV. But this season was very fucking chaotic.
It was. I think this season was built on one idea, and that idea was. Well, a couple things. I mean, obviously, there's the exposition of, hey, we've been copying all the guests.
Yes.
And the implications of what that would mean. Which they started to go down a road of, oh, God, what was that other Altered Carbon?
I haven't watched that show, but I know what you're talking about.
Watch Altered Carbon. Good show, a lot of big penises in it. Like literally.
Okay.
So
all right.
if you like the penis, enjoy Altered Carbon.
I don't have any problem with the penis.
There's
more than
there's
one.
no Skarsgård penis, but there's still penis. So.
It's so funny. Our friend sent us a picture, and like it was they were at the fucking what do you call it, parade, the Pride parade. And
speaking of penises,
like when we just looked at the picture, I don't know if they knew this, but we looked at our friend's dick and we're like, holy shit, he's got like a seeing eye penis.
I guess
but like I mean, he just had shorts on, but for whatever we could fucking see it.
The Pride parade was very fun. Apparently,
so,
there was a lot of fun people to look at.
Yeah, I was like, wow, dude.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah, it started. Altered carbon is, what if we developed a technology where at birth they implant a disc between your second and third vertebrae that records your consciousness. And so when you die, they can take that disc and insert it into a host body, fake body or whatever they call it.
I mean, you can live on.
You can live on.
It's like what is it? What is that called? The merging of the technology of man and.
Well, but here's the thing
the singularity. That's it.
Yeah, singularity.
You have something like that. Well, what it does is it creates more of a bridge between the rich and the poor, because it now gives the rich people the means to live eternally. They can buy as many of these, fake bodies as they want. They can invest in
just like corporations,
backup uploads of their consciousness. So if they're ever shot in the neck and their stack is destroyed, they'll have a backup that can be uploaded at any time.
And essentially they're like corporations. Because corporations are super people that never die and can just completely, accumulate assets.
Then they, of course, analyze, and what Altered Carbon does is they go into, what happens to the human psyche when it lives for 300 years. What becomes acceptable and unacceptable? What is, what does morality look like in somebody that has been alive and seen multiple generations be born, live, and die?
Yeah. We're 100-year generation.
Obviously, there's a God complex that comes along with that. Because, so I liked it. Some people didn't. I don't think Mark liked it, but that's okay. Mark is a very critical individual, and he wants to love everything. But obviously, because of his background as an analyst for film and stuff, he has a little harder time just disassociating from that analysis and just letting things happen. So.
That's why I had to have him and Michael on at one point. Because I was like, well, we got to have a guy who actually works on a Marvel show on with Mr. Bernardin so he can finally hear the effect of his comments.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff. I mean, there's Mark's got, Kevin's mentioned recently, Mark's got a private project that he's working on.
Yes.
In addition to this treadstone that he just picked up.
Yes.
That he's going to keep him busy for a while. But I think, and I don't know, I mean, I'm spitballing here. I'm hoping that something is going on with his personal project as well, because if this happens, and it may be, a big project, I don't know. But if it happens, it'll definitely keep Mark busy for quite a while.
Well, it looks like Kevin might have that weed show back again.
Yeah, Hollyweed. It's been picked up. That's all we know.
Oh, it has been for sure.
Well, yeah, per the last Fatman on Batman.
See, that makes sense.
Or wasn't? I don't know if it's Fatman on Batman or the last
Babylon.
Babylon.
Then Kevin I haven't heard the last Babylon yet.
They finished up the pilot episode. They finished up shooting that, and they had Ralph was there. In his eye patch as the Vietnam vet and stuff. And it was the last Fatman on Batman where Kevin showed up wearing the sports coat without the hat.
Oh.
Yes.
Because he had just come from set.
He had the hairpiece. Yeah, I did see this.
Yeah.
He looked
so
good.
But he said...
Did he say it was picked up? Because I didn't hear that part.
It may have been Babylon there, and when he said, we finished shooting Hollyweed.
That's what I thought, because, think about it. There was a bunch of weed shows that came out, but they all sucked. Why the fuck wouldn't you have backed the one with Kevin Smith?
Well, it took them a little bit to come around, but they finally did. But can I tell you,
it'll be interesting to hear because all he said was that it's been picked up more on that later. So there's been no official announcement. I mean, he could be on. It could be a YouTube Red Band series. It could, be a Hulu. It could be Netflix. Hell, it could, it could be anything. So.
It's so funny because we have an autographed picture that we were sent by a listener.
Yeah.
Where he's from the Hollyweed set.
Yeah. It was.
Nice.
I guess it was like it was before they decided to ditch it.
Yeah, it was that. Well, yeah, they did it, and then it got ditched, and then
Well, yeah, because they did it. It was 2.5 years ago where they initially did it, and he showed the footage at Babylon. And I chatted with him briefly after that last Fatman, and I said, I was like, wow, Hollywood, huh? You're back in the game? And he goes, yeah. And I said, you guys have Ralph? And he goes, yeah, Ralph was there with the eye patch and stuff. So,
cool.
But it makes total sense because all those other weed shows sucked.
I like seeing Ralph.
They were all
boring.
They weren't funny.
Was it Mary? Who is it that did Weeds?
Well, yeah, but that
HBO,
was,
but that was
sort of done. You know what I mean? That had its run.
I loved that one. That show was good.
Yeah.
That was the one. And then when that was over, there was no need to have more.
They'd spun up like 4 different legalized, people in running weed store shows.
But Kevin with that hair and that blaze.
I did hear a rumor from his Ace Comic-Con show where he did just the evening with or talking with Q&A. I heard a rumor that potentially there's interest in the Mallrats series by Universal. So that may still come to fruition. I've also heard that Buckaroo Banzai is back on the table.
Really? Wow.
As potential. Now, again, just rumors. Nothing is confirmed or unsubstantiated. I have heard that the creators, because originally with Buckaroo Banzai, the problem was the creators, the original creator didn't want to be involved, and it was very important to Kevin that they be involved. And so that kind of fell down, online and in the news and stuff like that. But apparently now the original creator is wanting to be involved and is
interesting.
That was
not on my radar at all.
Yeah.
Can I briefly ask?
Hang on.
Okay,
here is something that this is completely my gut now. Completely my gut. I will say I have no evidence to back this up at all, but only from things Kevin has said. Now, he said that he was in Vegas working on a project that had nothing to do with his IP per se. Okay? I wonder, and I would just get such a kick out of this, if he and maybe Andy are working on something for Snoop Dogg.
I think he was in Vegas for Drake, wasn't he?
But he was also in Vegas.
Nope and nope. I'll give you nopes on both of those.
Oh,
he was not in Vegas for Drake. He was in Vegas
for,
according to what he said, working on a script or an outline.
Right.
But one of the other things that he mentioned was that while he was there, he went to the Golden Knights game, for hockey and stuff like that. He mentioned that there was someone there with him, or someone that he was talking to, and he mentioned a name, and it was a guy who works in production in television, I think from one of the CW shows.
Okay.
Because he had some questions about finance on how to do stuff.
Yeah. Ooh.
So, that being the case, my thought is
know.
that he may have been working on an outline. It may have been the outline that he recently mentioned at Ace Comic-Con as well, turning into Disney.
Okay.
So, because there was that news that was online recently about, Kevin mentioned turning in a project, an outline for Disney, and then the speculation, well, he's not going to do anything but Marvel or Star Wars, so which one is it? And it's like, it's not either.
Yeah.
I can confirm the only work I do for them is, when I go to the theater. So
yes, I remember that tweet.
Yeah.
my thought, and I think Disney may be looking to do a reboot of Bedknobs and Broomsticks, not as a movie, but as a TV show set in that world, which would open up a lot of Kevin's love for that movie. You know,
which is such a strange film. Well, it really is.
It's not.
It's like Nazis and fucking.
But here's the other thing. Maybe they're not doing the full Bedknobs and Broomsticks of 1942, but maybe they're bringing Bedknobs and Broomsticks to modern day.
That would be.
And maybe they're focusing on the Isle of Nabumbu. You know?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of
Nazis.
potentials there. A lot of potentials for what they can do. That being my thought process is that it's something centered around Bedknobs and Broomsticks with the whole reboot craze
that
going
makes
on.
so much sense.
Also, part of the Vegas thing, I'm sure, was the comic book thing, because he's working on a lot.
Right.
He was working on the comic.
Well, he's doing
Hit
Hit
Girl.
Girl. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But now
I thought he had turned that in already.
He did, but now here's the deal. What's his name? Miller has Miller World, and like that Millar World, and Mark Millar, and he's got a Netflix deal to create like shitloads of content. How could there not be some sort of tangential connection?
I gotta say, nay, and here's why: because there's Hollyweed, there's Mallrats, there's Gonzai. There's fucking the reboot. There's Moose Jaws 3. There's fucking.
I mean, there's shit on the table. Yes, there's always shit on the table. You know what I mean?
But no. Here's the thing.
But there's a difference between a go project
like,
and a maybe project. And if Millar was like, I need you to direct this.
No. Here's the thing. From the Ace Comic-Con thing, both of the Buckaroo Banzai and the Mallrats rumors that he had mentioned possibilities of were both premised with his agent calling and saying, "You're too busy for this, but ...
Right.
And then Kevin going, "Oh yeah, let's take the meeting," and his agent going, "God damn it," kind of thing. So he is insanely busy right now. I don't think he could fit.
And
I think he's headed back up in August to shoot for the CW again. I'm not entirely sure on, but yeah. So I mean, there's a lot that's happening. I think the latest is that they're going to start shooting maybe in October. The reboot.
Jane and Silent Bob.
That's also from
is it Jane? Oh wait, I'm losing. Yeah, it is Jane and Silent Bob. Yes.
Yeah, the reboot. So that's out there. So yeah, he's incredibly busy. We're excited out here. We've got a ton of Fatman on Batman shows lined up. Month of July, we've got Comic-Con down in San Diego coming up later this month. Still haven't heard
who's going to be out there.
You know who's going to be out there? Heard if Kevin's going to be doing the IMDb panel or let me write this down.
Marilyn will be joining Shooting Clerks.
Yeah, at the San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, so those guys will be down there. I don't know if there'll be a screening though. That's the downside to that. But
yeah, I don't know either. I haven't heard. I mean, I haven't seen too much out on a schedule, so I don't know what the Hall H panels are aside from.
If those guys were smart though, they would contact Scum and Villainy and see if they could host a screening.
Yeah, that would be great. I don't know. I mean,
that's
I don't know.
The problem with. I mean, at least in the future, yes. Right now, they don't have it set up to be able to do that. However, I know JC has some plans for installing some monitors and things like that.
Yeah.
He has a lot of plans for that, but it's just continually now that he's kind of brick and mortared it up instead of being a pop up.
Yes.
It's starting to every time I go there, there's something new. He's like, "Hey, James, check this out." So
that's awesome. That's why we want to hit it next time we come. If we get to fucking Vegas.
I like how they moved it so like the people being interviewed like are not in the same space. Like they moved it across the way to where like the people usually ask questions.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. So I like.
Oh
I think it was the Avenger because the
the
Avenger dudes were there, and that's the way they did it. Was great.
I was sitting right behind the the shorter of the two guys.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, we were all. That was Zach was there, Nate was there, Cat Ears, myself. So we had a full group in that booth.
Yeah, I like the way that was set up. Because it was a lot easier to kind of hear everybody.
It was cool to hear and to see. I'm sure on the YouTube video, sitting there in that booth, having him stand right in front of you was kind of awkwardly weird. But hey, it's one person's problem.
I know.
One person's problem for a million people's enjoyment.
Yeah.
I have that's fine. But we're excited because August 3rd, we've got the big birthday Babylon is going to be out here in Irvine on August 3rd, and so right now we've got about 10 to 12 of us that are going to get together and have a big group.
That sounds great.
People coming in from out of town. We got Brian Stoner coming down from Seattle with his family. Evie's coming in from Phoenix. She's flying over. Some other folks are coming in, but it's going to be a good time.
Sounds like a blast.
Birthday.
Mm-hmm. The birthday Babel celebration.
He'll be 48.
Yes.
There's something happening in August here in Red Bank. I don't know what it is yet. There's a surprise.
I had heard early August. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably. I mean, he's doing the birthday show on Friday the 3rd. His birthday is the 4th.
Yeah, it could be that weekend.
So maybe that weekend or that Sunday. It may be another, because they said it's the 20th anniversary.
Yeah.
The only thing that I can think of is Volgathon.
Did a little bird tell you that?
No,
I'm telling Gene. I think I know the little bird.
It was a little birdie. But...
Is a little birdie who,
Well,
how you doing?
A bit later.
Hey,
no, it wasn't that one.
Okay, all right.
It wasn't the Hey Girl, Hey Girl.
No, it wasn't Hey Girl, Hey.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, but yes.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Vulgarthon.
Okay.
Interesting. I wonder if they're going to go with Vulgar too. Finally.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's the only thing I can think of for a 20th anniversary, because they did the 20th anniversary of the Stash last year. Earlier.
Okay.
So. It's not the Stash. It's not Dogma. It's not Chasing Amy.
No, it's not.
What else could it be?
Big Helium Dog?
I have no idea.
That's Brian Lynch. There was like four small films that he produced. One of them was Vulgar. One was Big Helium Dog.
Yeah.
The other was A Better Place, which was Vinny's.
Right.
And I can't remember what the fourth one was right now, but it'll come to me.
You just have to listen to the Brian Lynch show and then figure it out.
Yes.
Find that out.
That was a great episode.
That was a lot of fun.
We suck our own
What a
dick.
beautiful person he is.
Such a good guy.
I know I sound so
such
corny
nice
saying that, but it was just a great guy.
Yes, we just got to get his wife back so we can get her on to talk about Rebels.
Talk about Rebels. That was
fun. Yeah, like we find out midway through the Brian Lynch show that his wife is like one of the co-creators of Star Wars Rebels.
Crazy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We're like, shit. Well, that's like one of my favorite animated shows right now. I want to watch it. I gotta watch. Can we have her on the show?
Yeah.
So
we're trying to get that. I need to get moving and grooving back to work.
Okay.
Excellent. Because this is perfect. This is a perfect little tight interview, and I've really enjoyed it. And we want to thank you for coming on, man.
And we look forward to seeing you soon.
Glad to chat with y'all.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see you guys in September in Vegas.
Yes.
And hugs to Marin.
That's another awesome thing about Vegas. Like, the flight in is so much cheaper than flying to fucking L.A., man.
See, but I'm thinking, I'm thinking we might fly into L.A. and drive to Vegas.
No, because it's like 3 times the price.
I don't think it is, though.
Well, it's obviously, as you know from the last time, driving from L.A. to Vegas on a Friday sucks.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And driving back from from Vegas to L.A. on a Sunday sucks.
For those out there who don't know, we got to watch an air evacuation.
Oh my God,
while
but
doing
that's not
that.
the normal, though. That's not like.
Well, but the volume of people, though, is.
It is.
You know,
and there were those fires that had just come through.
Maybe we
you don't want to drive to Vegas on a Friday unless you're leaving before noon.
That's what I'm saying. We fly in there.
Even then, we left at like 11:30 when we drove out there, and we didn't pull in till 5, and that's a 3.5 hour drive.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and then the ride back, obviously traffic too, because it's a 2-lane road.
Yeah.
You know, 2 lanes on either side, going all the way from LA to Vegas.
Forget.
Yeah.
I just remember. I only remember the good parts.
Yeah. Well,
I'm gonna price out taking the train. Might be cheaper to take the train.
I didn't know there was one. Amtrak, I guess.
Yeah.
That's a
totally.
good idea.
Yeah. No, I'm not doing the fucking train. It's a little bit far from Jersey.
Yeah, the train. That's
we're flying. We're either flying to L.A. or we're flying. I think we're flying to Vegas.
I think we'll fly to Vegas. I loved Vegas last time, so I hope it works out. I really did.
Excellent.
All right.
We miss you guys. Hugs and kisses from Jersey.
Yes.
Woo.
All right. I'll talk to you all soon.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Big Daddy Jimmy V, everybody.
Yay.
Yay. And there you are, Big Daddy Jimmy V on this extra reverb episode of Batman on Fatman. Thank you. Did you enjoy that?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Good Powie thing.
I don't know what that was.
That was an homage to, I want to say Spaceballs, but I could be wrong. Anyway, so they got Big Daddy Jimmy V and all our speculations about stuff. Now, another show that we didn't announce that is actually getting done, that is Andrew McElfresh and the one, the only Kevin Smith, have decided that they're going to redo the Edumacation show, at least for live. I don't know how much. I don't know if they're going to do the studio thing anymore, or they're just going to do live now. But the idea being that it's going to be like a pub game show of sorts,
and you have to buy a card.
and you can go and instead you can go and see it, but you don't have to actually play. You don't have to spend any money. The way you spend money would you get a card,
right.
And in all honesty, they explained this in this episode, and I listened diligently, but at least midway through, I had no idea.
I think I have to listen again.
Yeah, I think even if I listen again, I'm still going to be confused.
So
I'm really going to have to...
I think we need to go and experience
it. See that in action. And they themselves admitted that they may have made it too long, and it will need a lot of tweaking. So
yeah, it sounds like more complicated than it is, I think.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like it's just
and it essentially came out of, I guess, recently.
Yeah.
Mr. McElfresh participated in a pub game.
Right.
So.
And I think the prizes are big prizes. Like you get almost like props from the movies or like a jersey or something like that.
Big prizes are a relative term, but yeah.
It sounds like
you're going to get Kev-related merch.
Well, stuff
and you'll probably get the movie seats that they tend to get, the 4DX.
No, I'm talking about he's going to give stuff like from...
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, like his Kevin.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, he's cleaning out a lot of his stuff.
That's cool, man.
He's purging.
And maybe he'll even sign that shit. I'd love to have something very like my own little unique little thing from Kevin. That would be fun. So check that out.
And our plan
What's
is
the
to be
name
out
of the
west.
Game? We're trying
in
to
September sometime.
And there is a slight chance because do you want to share about at the end
I
of the
don't
month?
know that I necessarily can share about that because
there
of
might
NDAs
be,
and all that kind of stuff.
There might be a little bit of excitement at the end of the month, and we'll share more.
I was informed yesterday that I'm being requested to work on a specific project.
Yeah.
I don't know what I can say and can't say.
Right.
But when I am allowed to say something, by all means, I will share.
And that will may very well help getting our asses to California.
Yes.
Which would be awesome. Yes. So we're planning to do that.
Yes. That will pick up a little scratch for the
Do they have a game? They have a name for that game? The pub game? Is there a name?
I think it's I think it's Edumacation.
It's just Edumacation.
I think it's going to be essentially the live version of the show.
Right.
Because I think they want to be able to do it live and that whole.
I think it's a good idea. I think, and it's funny because when Kevin does stuff, it kind of always, it doesn't really stay that way. It kind of morphs into its own
every
little.
podcast.
Well, game, like the game will probably morph into, the imagination will change with the game.
Every podcast evolves and changes somewhat. I mean,
no, I'm like the podcast, but I'm talking
look
about
at this
the
show.
game.
Go back and listen to episode 1.
I know.
It
I'm
was me by myself. I was a dork. I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah, I'm talking about the game they're talking about. That might morph into something totally different. That they're
I'm
starting.
sure
the idea starts over here, and then it went.
I'm sure it'll stay a game. I just think what they'll do now is clean it up.
Oh yeah, it'll
and wrap it to the show.
Yeah, it'll be like a tighter game.
And it makes sense because
check
now
out the book because Edumacation's a cool book.
Because if you think about how they do their shows,
right?
I think, in a sense, they're trying to fill a niche. They're trying to, make Edumacation a little more unique.
I love the idea.
Yeah, I love the show as it is.
Yeah, I think the game show is a great idea.
No matter what they do, what I've learned, especially with Kevin's stuff, the last thing you ever want to do, like when you hear people complaining about the way Kevin does shit, why? Because the whole point is you want Kevin to be inspired, so he wants to do it.
Well, and then there's more Kevin stuff.
Exactly.
Because the more he's inspired, the more he'll do it.
So, like, for instance, Fatman on Batman became a loose news geek show with Mark Bernardin.
Yeah, and it's live, and it's at a fucking
and
bar.
now it's live
fun.
all the time, and and that's its own show,
Yeah.
and Kevin loves doing it.
And you can go to it and see him.
There's almost more of those episodes now than of the other podcasts.
Right.
So
right, and you can go to, you can see Babel.
And you got Hollywood Babylon,
I think there was just
which
a
essentially is a
Babel.
nightclub show.
I think there was a Cali Babel just Friday, so people got to see that because I think that hasn't been.
There's
as
supposed to be
frequent.
a bunch of those.
Oh, good.
It's really
Good.
hot there in Cali too.
It's been hot. Oh my gosh, everyone!
Check out our friend Susie Q's video.
Yeah, Susie Q is naked. But she is.
Anyway.
A few people were really
and
hot
also,
too.
wait, Big Daddy Jimmy V.
And they
like
had a
last night, they
fire.
were saying they were one of
Oh
those
my God,
fucking
are you guys
wildfires.
okay? Are you guys all right?
That may
What?
be the last time you ever hear Big Daddy Jimmy.
No,
I'm kidding. No, we
but
hope
Marin said it was like 5
Yeah.
minutes behind them or something behind. You could see the fire behind them.
Well, I have not been on Twitter today.
Well, this
I've
was
not
yesterday.
been on social media.
Yeah, we've been busy. It's just a lot of stuff going on.
It's been cray.
Yeah. That shit cray.
That shit cray, yo.
That shit cray.
Oh
my God, I sound so stupid
now we're
doing
Cardi
Jay-Z.
B.
No, Jay-Z.
That was what we're doing.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
That shit cray.
All I know is I've been hearing way too much Cardi B lately.
Oh, I love that girl.
I just want to
Mamacita
drip
needs her
myself out the
baby.
fucking door.
She needs to have her baby soon.
I'm feeling very drippy. I'm feeling drippy.
So,
yeah, we should wrap this up.
Yeah, I'm just thinking. I don't think there was anything else because we wanted to talk about the game.
Yep.
Now we wanted to talk about California and that. I don't think there's anything else.
That too.
And that too. And then.
All right. Yeah. So.
I think that's it.
Another little thing I will say, I guess as part of the 4th of July holiday, had to watch Team America.
Oh my God.
World Police.
Is that fuck yeah?
That movie's so funny, but is now dated because you got the first
Kim Jong-il.
Yeah, or Un or Il.
No,
or
Un is
whoever.
now.
Okay.
Il is before.
Okay, and yeah, you have also what's his name?
Oh my God.
The guy we finally got.
Yeah.
Osama
bin Laden.
Osama bin Laden's in it. And, yeah. But still genius.
It really is genius.
Still funny. And I just remember at the time Trey and Matt saying how they thought it would be easy with the marionettes and it being a big pain in the ass and they hated it.
Yeah.
And just to see that it's like done and it's so funny.
It really is funny.
So it's worth it.
It's so stupid.
It's one of those, yeah, it's totally stupid. That's the beautiful part about it.
We did see it in the theater.
Yes. We can be proud of it.
Well, yeah, and you remember that I liked, and I probably did.
You liked it. Greg liked it,
and I think
I liked it.
Yeah,
but
one of the girls,
Greg's
that we
wife,
were with didn't like it.
Yeah,
But, yeah, it's a
at
certain.
the time was not. Just didn't find it funny.
It's a certain. I mean, it's so stupid that it's like if you're not into stupid, you're just not gonna laugh. But I'm apparently into stupid, so it's good.
Durka, Durka, Shihad, Durka.
I do like that. That's
you know,
my
like,
favorite
all that
part.
kind of weird stuff. Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
And also, it was like, it's weird because Alec Baldwin
Oh, I know.
is the head of the Film Actors Guild,
Yeah.
FAG, as it's called. And in a sense, and he's sort of the bad guy, and now he plays Trump,
Yeah.
who's in very much the same way,
I
the head
know,
of
it's
FAG, and sort of
yeah.
like the bad guy.
Yeah. I know. In his own way. He's a head of FAG. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Head
Anyway.
of...
Why do we have to go back to
I
that?
know.
Get off Trump.
Just stay positive, guys.
I know, it's
we
so
love you.
hard when
we love you.
Authoritarian scumbag
Yeah.
is trying to take over and destroy democracy in
Right.
America.
Just
as we know it.
continue doing all your creative stuff and all the things that make you happy.
Yes.
Because
And-
those are the things you're going to need.
Yes. And apparently my sound effects are down this week, as you could tell, because we didn't devolve into just me Rick-rolling somebody or something.
No.
But
Oh,
we
wait.
will...
Were we supposed to Rickroll someone?
No. But anyway. Well, sometimes we do.
Yeah.
But, this week, we're going to go quietly into the night. And we're going to remind you that you're smart and you're good.
Yeah, you are smart and good.
And we love y'all.
We are.
We love you, dog.
We love
And,
y'all.
We hope you enjoyed the show.
Have a good week.
Have a good week, and we'll catch you next week.
Bye, guys.
Baby.
Be good and be happy and do your stuff.
Smart and good.
Bye.
Take care.
Lying on the barren floor and staring out in space, looking for an angel smile and praying for some faith. Thoughts are drifting through my mind and filling it with fear. Is there something else out there, and just why are we here? Then I see the world will turn and we must be its guide. Crazy dreams and nonsense schemes, gone comes we must reply. Powers from our mother earth will below us to our knees. While our souls do bind as one, come join us if you please, if you please. Reading moments one by one and smirking like a thief. Sleeping through another night and deepening our peace. Genesis and matter's wake is coming from our sun. Living in this very moment, for this moment's done. But now I see the dawn will come and we are all its guide. Crazy dreams and nonsense schemes, the Godhead in the skies. Powers from our mother earth is all we'll ever be. While our souls do bind as one, come join us if you please, if you please. Join another person's eyes, we worship at our shrine. Bursting flowers into bloom, there's no such thing as time. Powers from our mother earth will blow us to our knees. Twisting, turning minds are burning, join us if you please. And now I see that I am just beginning its demise. Flashing bits of comic light that vanish from the skies. Powers from our mother earth is all we'll ever be. All our souls to bind as one, come join us if you please.
there he is. It's that man standing over Blood Alley Square, protecting us all. Go get him, that man.